Hey everyone, what's up? It's the Culture Detective here, investigating your favorite days, and today I'm going to do my second list out of the 12 lists that I'll be doing at the end of every year, and this time it would be the top 10 worst days of 2020. So before I start off, I just want to say that we all know that 2020 sucks. It is an absolutely garbage year. It is garbage, it is trash, it is rubbish, it is shit, it is poo poo, it is defecate, it's bad, and I hate it. It goes on to say that there are a lot of bad days in 2020. But I managed to narrow it down to 10. And also, if it's a day where something terrible is happening to the world, but not to me, it's still a bad day, but I would not add onto this list. So, yeah. Uh, Before we start off, I would like to add a dishonorable mention, and that would be October 10th. Or I would call it Circular Trapdoors Part 3. Yes, again, I have given names to every single day because I'm a namer. On October 10th, it's pretty bad, but I wouldn't say it's terrible. But essentially, I accidentally deleted the videos in my computer for my thoughts update video twice. I deleted it once in the Media Explorer tab, and then I deleted it again in the recycle bin. I emptied the recycle bin. I did that because I wanted to have more space in the computer, and I forgot that I had not edited that Thoughts Update video yet and uploaded it at all. It sucked, and I tried to download a recovery software to recover like lost files that I accidentally deleted in the recycle bin, and one of those softwares actually successfully scanned those files, but I was never able to retrieve them because I didn't buy the premium version of that software. So I was like, fuck it, you know what? I'll just like film myself talk about those missing days, essentially. Also, on the same day, I had to wash my hands 9 times before I went to bed because I just keep messing up and messing up and messing up. So essentially, I'm a bit of a germaphobe, and I don't like accidentally touching things. For instance, my dirty clothes, which is sitting right here because I'm too lazy to put them into the washing machine, or specifically the basket outside of the washing machine. So I keep messing up and messing up and messing up. I went onto my bed and realized that the curtain is not pulled correctly because if I lay down and I look at the in front of me and I see a window, I'm not gonna be able to fall asleep. When I fall asleep, I want to make sure all curtains cover all my windows. I don't want to see windows, okay? I will not be able to fall asleep when I see a window, okay? I just can't. So I had to wash my hands 9 times, and it was annoying, and it was pretty bad. Anyways, let's move on to number 10, and that is August 19th, intestinal. Now, I call it intestinal because I always refer to my phones as actual bodies, actual organisms. And this is also pretty weird because if you all watched my last video, you would know that August 18th is actually one of the best days of the year. So how is it that the next day would become one of the worst days of the year? Well, let me tell you that. After I left Nick's place, it was raining really, really heavily, more heavy than any rainstorms in 2020 so far. Rain was coming all over the place, vertically, horizontally. I was all wet even though I had an umbrella, and I didn't put it above my head because the wind was so strong. It was blowing the rain horizontally. It was raining horizontally, for God's sake, and I was using the umbrella as a shield, and it was on the verge of breaking. And stupid me, I took my phone out and filmed some of that rain situation, which actually ended up in my thoughts update video. You guys should check it out. Yeah, my phone got wet, but I didn't think some raindrops will make it bad until later on that day. I realized that I saw that my phone is glitching out. The screen is getting green. There are these purple bars here and there. Everything's flickering, and it absolutely sucked. So on the next day, okay, so this isn't the first time that my phone has glitched out because of water damage. I suspect it to be. The first time actually happened like earlier, a month ago, I think, and I solved the problem simply by opening up. I watched a tutorial and I opened up the back casing of my phone, exposed it to the air for one night, and then on the next day, it's perfectly fine for some reason. And so I did that again on August 19th. Didn't work. So immediately I took it to the Samsung Fixing Center in Causeway Bay, Hong Kong. And I gave it to them, and they're like, okay, we can check it for you, but you have to pay 200 Hong Kong dollars, which is like about 200 Hong Kong dollars is about, say, 28 US dollars, so it's pretty friggin' expensive. And they said they're gonna probably clean up all the memory in my phone, erase all of them, give it an amnesia, and yeah, it sucked. And since the phone that I'm using right now, which is that phone, has had a history of errors. Not only was there, cancer, where there was a purple patch in the screen and it sort of spread until it totally dies, and that happened for like 4 times, but now there's the second time where my phone had experienced water damage. So this phone has got to be pretty fucked up, right? So my mom's like, you know what, let's not use this phone anymore. If you continue using it, you're just going to cost us more. Why not just buy a whole new phone? This is why we bought a new phone, a Samsung Galaxy 20 5G. And at first I was just very reluctant, like, oh, come on, like, I don't want to buy the new phone yet, because then the stuff in my old phone, my original one, all the apps and all the stuff, like, I want to transfer it first. And the worst part is when we bought the old phone, the phone store said that they didn't have the thing yet. The product had not arrived. It's not on the shelf yet until a week later. So I had to, on the same day, cross the harbor in Hong Kong. If you don't know geography, there's the Hong Kong Island, and then there's Kowloon, which is the peninsula, which is connected to the mainland China. So I had to cross the harbor to my mom's company's office and visit my aunt, and she gave me a spare phone. And all this hassle and hustle. I came back home, I retrieved my phone, which isn't fixed, it's only checked. Retrieved my old phone, turns out it's fine. For some weird reason, it's fine. And I'm still using it now, like 4 months later. Yeah. I don't know how, but at least there's that. Alright, at number 9, I am giving it to March 9th with Death Final. Now, this is one of the most disappointing days in my entire life, probably. Okay, that may be an overstatement, but definitely the most disappointing day in 2020. March 9th, well, yeah, technically January 21st is the last normal school day, but on March 9th, all Form 6 students, Form 6 is the last year of school, all Form 6 students had to go back to school to get their exam license, because in order to take the DSEs, you need to have a license to prove that you're an actual student, and you have the teachers and the principal's approval of taking an exam. This exam is to be taken seriously. So we had to retrieve the exam license. And of course, you know me, I like this girl. Her name is Mary. And I haven't spoken to her at that point for 4 months already. And I really wanted to speak to her because I know that if I don't, then I'll have to spend the entire DSE realizing that I haven't spoken to her yet for a long time already. And I don't want that. So I went there, went back to school. It was fun while it lasted. Saw a few old friends. But Mary didn't show up, of course, because at school, on that day, it was the beginning of the second wave of coronavirus. So the teacher came up with this very elaborate plan because in 1 year of school, everyone separated into 5 classes, 6A, B, C, D, E. I'm in 6A. And so 6A is the earliest class to go to school. So 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., 6A. And then 12 at noon to 1 p.m., 6B, and then so on and so forth. And 6D and 6E on the next day. And so I didn't see Mary, and I didn't even take photos with anyone because we all thought that this is going to be the last school day ever where we can wear our school uniforms and walk in our school. And so usually people would take photos, but I never did take any photos with anyone other than Grant. He's a chill guy. He's a chill dude. And then at the very end, I just felt really disappointed, so I ended up hanging out in Oliver's apartment for a while, which isn't that great, but it's still better than nothing, I guess. Okay, moving on, we have number 8 with August 3rd, Incarnate Interviuu. I put this day on this list solely because of one thing. Actually, 2 things. So first of all, at this point, I had not left my apartment for 8 days already. And I know that there are people out there in this world who had stayed for a way longer time than me in an apartment. But when you're stuck in such a small, confined space for 8 days, you're pretty desperate for fresh air, am I right? So I was really desperate for fresh air. And on the exact same day, I had to do a Zoom interview with a university in Hong Kong for joining a film class. And I've never done a university interview before. I don't know what to say. I don't know what's going to happen. I was totally unprepared. I started it, and holy fuck. I totally, absolutely ruined the interview. I was so embarrassing. The first interview I did was for not even film class, but animation class. And I totally had no idea why did I pick it in the first place. I don't know why. But anyways, the interview started. I had a virtual background. It was cringy, and then I didn't know what to say. Everybody had prepared like these really well-written 5-minute self-introductions, and I did not prepare any of that, and I just improvised. And then even worse, after the self-intros, people started showing everybody had like 5 minutes to show off their own work and stuff. I did not have any work at all. I don't animate, for fuck's sake. So I absolutely ruined that. The second interview that I did, I think on the next day or later. Yeah, I think it's later on that day. It was slightly better, but still I totally did not prepare anything at all, and it was terrible. It was ruined. It was terrible. But still not terrible enough for the university to turn me down, so at least there's that for some reason. But still, it was terrible. But on that day, I was so exhausted. I left the apartment. I just went out and walked. I just walked, and I gave myself a challenge because I was so bored with life. Normal life is so bored. I need to defy my averageness. So what I did is I bought a loaf of bread. Next up, we have number 7, and that is King's Corpse. Now, this day is absolutely terrible. It is absolutely shit. Because there were so many small incidents that happened, and they all accumulated into one aggravating shit fest, is what this is. A buffet of feces is what this day is. So essentially, we have July 5th, which is right before the third wave of the corona. And on that day specifically, actually not exactly right before, like it's slightly on the rise, but not that crazy yet. On that day, I had to help my mom's company as a staff member, as a cameraman, to film a small concert being held in a place far away from home, across the harbor, of course. And my elder cousin was there too, who is like 2 years younger than me. And when I arrived there, they didn't give me clear instructions. I didn't know what to do. I didn't even know that I'm supposed to film a concert. I know I'm going to film something, but I don't know what to film. I don't even know what's the concert. I haven't seen it before. And then on the same day, we had to go for lunch, and I was pretty full, but because I already had like breakfast, so I didn't really kind of want to have lunch. Anyways, we went to McDonald's, and I got like a fried chicken, like a meal set, with like a mango slushy or something, and it was really really difficult to find a set. I want that drink. I want that mango drink. That's all I want. I don't want food, but it has to come with food for some reason. So I bought the fried chicken and the fries with the mango drink. And then I had to finish the whole thing because I can't eat that lunch inside the concert venue. So I had to sit outside the doors of the concert venue in that floor, in that building. And it's just me and my lap. And I had to place everything on that lap. A box of fries on my right lap, a box of the drink right here, and then the drink, my phone right here, my drink on the guardrail. It was uncomfortable. It was a mess, but that wasn't even the worst thing. So on the same day after the concert was over, of course, we had to, be the strong masculine man that we are. Of course, we need to, put the tables and the chairs back to their original places. I have no problem with that. Afterwards, I had to go take a piss. I had, like a normal fucking human being, I had to take a number 1 in a place called bathroom. I don't know if you've heard of that. And some girls who are like 3 years younger than me, some immature girls, right? They decided it would be very fun to take a peek at the men's bathroom. And turns out I was there. I don't think they saw my privates, but yeah. And I don't even think they realized that I know that they're there. But they were just there. They were being naughty. And it wasn't like I didn't close the door or anything. The way the bathroom is designed, okay, this is the entrance, and then this is the hall of urinals. I was very inside. They walked into the hallway just to peek it. They didn't just peek it from the door. They had to walk into the bathroom and do that turn in order to see me. They had to take that extra step, quite literally. And then on the very same day, I went back to my cousin's place, actually, and I chatted with Natalie and Cedric. And back then I was stupid, and I didn't know that instead of 2, there are actually 3 writing systems in Japanese. I know that there's kanji and hiragana. I didn't know that there's katakana, and I got made fun of that, which is pretty upsetting. And then at the very end, we had dinner with my cousin's family as well as my cousin's family's friends. And oh my god, I don't know what's gotten into me, but it was such an angry dinner. I just want to fucking destroy things at that moment. I mean, there was many moments that really pissed me off. There was that the teapot thing, like this. Okay, so in a Chinese restaurant, it's a circular table, and there's a lazy Susan in the middle, which is this glass plate that constantly spins and spins and spins and spins and spins. And then I tried to get the teapot to pour some tea on my teacup, and it just keeps spinning, and I can't catch it. And I finally am able to catch the thing like a goddamn Pokemon. I poured some tea into my teacup, and I wanted to put it back, and I was really pissed off, so I didn't place it back like a silent leopard or something. I dropped it from like 1 centimeters. I dropped it, and it goes plung, and everyone was shocked for some reason. Or some people were shocked, like, oh my god, the table's about to crumble, the entire building is about to fucking collapse because of 1 teapot just slightly hit the fucking glass plate. And then at the same time, they ordered crabs, right? And I'm no expert in crab dissection and whatnot, and all I have is fucking teeth. So what I did is I chugged an entire chunk of crab into my mouth and grind the shells with my canines and molars and turn it into fucking sand so that I can eat a teeny tiny bit of flesh from that goddamn crab. So yeah, that's number 7 for you. Okay, number 6, even worse. It is September 4th. Life is a prison. A new chapter has begun. My life has finally lost all of its meaning, and now I am moving over to going online Zoom classes in an American college. And this day has nothing to do with college at all, actually. It has something to do with my short film. If you don't know this, for an entire year, actually for 3 years, I've been trying so hard to make one short film. One goddamn short film. It took me 3 years to write and rewrite 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 the script for over like 12 million times. It's absolutely frustrating. I had to cut down characters and scenes over and over again. It's like trying to kill my own children, for God's sake. And then on that day, I had the responsibility to cut down my script even further. I just can't. It's already reached its limit. Every single scene already mattered. I can't cut it any further, okay? I just can't do it. And I just felt really stuck, felt really frustrated, and I grabbed and I actually cried on that day because I was so frustrated, I was so angry. And the more I think about my short film, the more I realize how much of a loser I am. Or somehow I came to that conclusion anyways, and then I grabbed a phone, a clothes hanger in my closet, and I just whipped and whipped and whipped, and I kept whipping things for 4 hours. I didn't use my phone, I didn't do anything, I just sat in my bedroom whipping things and crying for 4 hours. That's all I did on that day. It's terrible, and I hate it. At number 5, it is actually 3 days, and it's pretty close to the 3 days that is today, and that is December 15th to 17th, or I Offer You My Bones. Cool title, I know. So, December 15th is included solely because the graduation dinner did not happen. Solely. That's the only reason. You have no idea how excited I was when I realized that after the whole thing blows over, after the DSEs, the last normal school day, all that, there's going to be one epic finale to my school life and to everyone's school life as well. The graduation dinner. I learned that there would be a graduation dinner all the way 1 year ago, and I thought, God damn, this dinner is going to be huge. We're all going to be dressed very fancy. We're going to party. We're going to eat a lot of food. It's going to be the best day of my life. I'm not even exaggerating. It's going to be heavenly. And originally it's set on July 15th, but of course July 15th is the third wave of Corona, so they decided to postpone it to 5 months later, to December 15th. And of course, December 15th is the 4th wave of the Corona. So, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, we paid 1,000 Hong Kong dollars to the hotel. First of all, that's gonna hold our graduation dinner. Second of all, a lot of us had paid over $1,000 buying dresses and suits. Okay. One sec. I need to. Okay, I don't wanna remove the whole thing now, but I don't know if you can't see it. But right here, this purple suit and this fancy blue suit, this purple shirt and this fancy blue suit is the $1,200 suit and shirt plus pants combo wombo that I bought. Of course, it didn't come to use. They had to postpone it for 12 years. So it was just really sad. I keep telling myself in a parallel universe I would be hanging out with people, socializing like a normal human being, speaking to Mary like a total champ, and I would be eating food and enjoying life. Only in a parallel universe, not this one. Next day, December 16th, it wasn't a terrible day at all, but at the very end, I planned to do the film class exam. I took a film class in my college, and I didn't expect the film class to be I didn't expect the film class exam to be like this much. So I ended up doing the exam for 2 hours. They gave us 3 hours to write 6 mini essays. I spent 2 hours writing it, and I slept on that day at 5:30 a.m. On the next day, I didn't sleep for much, of course. Again, I fell asleep at 5:30 a.m. and I only slept for a little bit less than 4 hours. Of course, I was really tired on that day. The breakfast I had on that day is this cheap raw sandwich thing, and it was disgusting. Again, I'm glad that I had food to consume, unlike those poor African children, but still, it was bad. And then people keep coming home at the most inconvenient moments possible, like the moment I try to film myself. People had to throw a party outside of my bedroom for some reason. On the same day, my brother came back home and decided not to wash his hands. Again. And this is frustrating because I've been telling him to wash his hands for 7 years already. 7. Maybe 8. I'm not exaggerating. It's the actual number. And part of the reason why my brother thinks washing hands is a stupid thing is because she thinks I'm stupid and crazy. Because my mom's always like, oh my god, like my mom would tell me in front of my brother, like, wow, you're such a clean freak, you're such a germaphobe, get a life, And my brother would be like, yeah, my mom's right. Washing hands is for stupid people. So he doesn't wash his hands after going to the bathroom. He doesn't wash his hands. He doesn't wash his hands before eating food with his hands. He comes back home from the outside world after touching like the elevator and the guardrails and all that. He's just gonna not wash his hands at all because it's for clean freaks. It's for idiots. And especially the fact that we're not in a pandemic right now, and it's not like there is a virus out there that's killing thousands and thousands of people right now. Don't wash hands. You don't have to, okay? It's not like there's a pandemic going on right now, right? On the same day, I died 3 times in Minecraft. It was frustrating, it was saddening, it was aggravating. But yeah, let's move on to number 4, April 7th to 9th. Death by cancer is no fun. Yeah, so earlier on this list, I mentioned how my phone glitched out because there was water leakage. 4 months prior, my phone had cancer. Again. But that isn't the only thing that bothered me on these 3 days. On April 7th, it's a shitty morning because I woke up and I wanted to use the bathroom. But I can't because my dad's in it. Okay. And then afterwards, I don't like it when people touch my pajamas because I'm a bit of a germaphobe myself again. So, yeah, people touch my pajamas and I'm mad. And then I had a haircut with my elder cousin. Nice. And then while having the haircut, I turned on my phone. Suddenly, I saw a purple patch and I was shocked. Oh my god. Not again. Are you fucking serious? So I immediately backed everything up. Okay, originally because the haircut place is in Causeway Bay and the Samsung Fixing Center is in Causeway Bay as well. So I immediately took the phone to the Fixing Center and they're like, okay, there's a possibility that we may wipe everything out. And I'm like, I mean, there is a possibility, but it had never happened before because it's not the first time my phone had cancer. And every time they fixed my phone with cancer, they didn't wipe anything out. So I gave it to them and they're like, well, we may wipe everything out. And I'm like, I don't think so. Like in my heart, I'm like, I don't think so. But I said, can you still go through with it? Very politely, of course. And then my mom's was there and she was like, no, but maybe times had changed. Maybe they actually will do the thing. So I went back home and backed up everything from my phone. And then on the next day, I didn't even give my phone to the Fixing Center on the next day. I gave it to my dad and my dad put there. Or I think, yeah, my dad put there. And apparently there's some sort of error that happened because I gave them my own phone number, the phone's phone number, not my dad's phone number, when it's my dad who brought the phone to the fixing center on the next day. So there's some sort of error. They didn't fix it until 8 p.m. on that day. So another 24 hours gone by where I just don't have a phone to use. And then because I didn't have the phone on April 9th originally, I had to wake up earlier in the morning because I had to do this math trial exam as a practice for the DSEs. There was no alarm clock. I couldn't wake up. I didn't wake up, and I just didn't do the trial exam. And then at the end, on that day, I ran all the way back there to pick up my phone, and it's fine now. All right, moving on, we have number 3, and that is May 25th. Love isn't really my thing. I really need to drink a sip of water. Just one moment, just uno momento. May 25th, pretty much 14 days, 2 weeks after I finished my DSEs. The day that I finished my DSEs, May 11th, is on my best days list. And that day is considered day 0 for me because it is a new life, new day, new dawn, new chapter in my life. So 2 weeks into that. First of all, there are several things. First of all, the national security law passing, and national security laws aren't usually a problem in other countries, but if it's a Chinese thing, of course, it's a problem. I don't want to get political, but I kind of have to. So basically, to give you a bit of backstory, there's this whole anti-extradition bill and anti-police brutality protests since June 9th, 2019, and I have joined those peaceful protests twice. I hadn't joined the crazy the fights, where people throw bricks and Molotovs, cocktails, and fight with the cops. I hadn't joined those because I wouldn't be able to take it. I mean, look at me. My body is built like a croissant. One tap and I shatter. But some of the people around me do join those things. I just can't. I'm physically incapable of. So in the daytime, I walk on the streets with Cedric and Tyrus, and we would chant protest slogans voicing the support of Hong Kongers against police brutality and the very tyrannical government decisions. So anyways, one of the tyrannical decisions made by the government is the national security law. And it's not even made by the Hong Kong government. It was made by the Chinese government, directly implementing it in Hong Kong without going through the Hong Kong government. And essentially, with the national security law passing, if people utter the word revolution in Chinese, in either Mandarin or Cantonese, in the public, or actually the English word as well, the police can catch you, they could put you in jail, they could bring you to trial. Like you could, you could go to trial for this thing. It's pretty serious. And not only that, but the implications of the law is horrifying because the Chinese government can now implement any law they want without having it pass through the Hong Kong government, which means that Hong Kongers have even less legislative and judicial system as before. So it's horrifying. On that day, I felt really alone because I spent 2 weeks without hanging out with anyone. I felt really alone. Felt really sad. And on that day as well, news came by that Mary, Natalie told me actually, because Grant told Natalie, and Oliver is Grant's friend. So Mary tried to get Oliver into like e-cigarettes or vaping or something. And I'm like, damn, they're really naughty. I totally didn't expect that. And Natalie's like, really? Well, I totally expected it. I'm not shocked. You're shocked. You're a loser. You can't read people. I can. Natalie didn't say all that, but it's very clear that she was implying this. And I started talking about Mary, talking about why I like her, talking about, like, just why I like her. And Natalie and Grant and Cedric, they're all like, man, you're so wrong. You're so wrong. Mary's just a basic bitch, okay? Mary's just a basic average person, and she's not worth your time at all, just move on. But I can't. You can't just tell me to stop being interested in a girl whom I've been interested for 3 years already. You can't just say, nope, move on, and then I'll just be clear of all the interest. But at the end, I was actually kind of convinced that, you know what, maybe they're right. Maybe Natalie, Grant, and Cedric are right. Maybe Mary's just a very basic, normal person. And I just felt really upset, really sad, and I made a decision where I detached myself from all my friends and classmates for 7 days. So from May 25th and the week after that, till the week after, I did not once make an Instagram story. I tried my best to not even go to Instagram. I didn't go to WhatsApp and chat with the people, chat with Natalie or Leo and Pink at all. I didn't speak with anyone. I just cut myself off. And I did this because I realized that I have to move on from my past life and sort of head over to the new one. And this, it hurts, man. It really, really does hurt. It really hurts emotionally because I felt really, really lonely. I just didn't know what to say, what to do. I was bored as hell, and you can see my first thoughts update video. I even changed school update to thoughts update because I'm done with school. I'm fucking done with school, okay? School has brought me more pain than joy, okay? And I realized that I have a dilemma. I either choose loneliness, not having any friends to speak to, or pain and suffering, okay? I speak to Natalie and Grant and everyone else who was in school, and I just receive pain and bitterness and resentment every single fucking day. And sure, in one of those days, every 2 weeks or so, I'm gonna feel included. I'm gonna feel welcomed. People are gonna be nice to me, but that's just one day. And that day distracts me from the fact that in a majority of the time, when I spend time with my schoolmates, it's pain and suffering, okay? It's so much pain. It's so much suffering. It made me very angry and cynical. So I just chose loneliness over that, and for an entire week it was just painful loneliness. So there is that. Now we have arrived at our number 2 spot, and that is April 25th to May 10th, which is nearly a whole month. But yeah, these days are terrible. Essentially, we have the DSEs, which is the Diplomacy of Secondary Education. And it's a big exam. It's the Hong Kong equivalent of A-levels. All Form 6 students in Hong Kong will have to take these exams. They have to receive an exam license, and they're not going to take these exams at their own schools, of course. We all wore our own clothes, not our school uniforms, our own clothes, and we are assigned to different schools because all the students are scrambled in order to make sure that there is no bias whatsoever. All of the students are randomly scrambled, and I had to go to almost different schools for every different exam that I was going to take. And it was stressful. All 18 years of my life had been building up to this. This is the ultimate DSE exam. 6 years ago, when I was in a primary school, I was daydreaming how inhuman I would become when I study for the DSEs, because I will lose all sense of emotions in my brain. All I had would be knowledge, like chemistry, biology, maths, liberal studies, physics, Chinese, English, and turns out I'm still human, of course, but it's still really difficult for me. I tried really, really hard studying. At some point, I studied for 10 hours a day, which is not that many compared to hardcore, die-hard students in Hong Kong and in mainland China and Korea and Japan. But still, 10 hours per day, I was suffering. It was hell. It was hellish. And on April 29th, I forgot to bring my radio battery for my English listening exam, which is terrible because that costed me 1% of my total marks, and that's terrible. And then on May 7th, which is the second last day of my exam, technically, not in the exam period, but it was physics, and I fucked it up so bad. It was absolutely embarrassing. And then, of course, we have May 11th. But May 11th is included in my best days of the year, so I didn't include it in this list. But theoretically, it should be in this list. That is why May 11th is like both terrible and great at the same time. Yeah, there you go. Now, moving on, we have number 1. And I know that COVID-19, I know that the coronavirus and the fires in Australia and the explosion in Beirut, Lebanon, and the locust plague and all of that are crazy things in 2020. But in my number 1 spot, none of those things happened before this day. This day precedes everything, because this day is actually 2 days. December 31st, 2019 and January 1st, 2020. The first day of the fucking decade is fucking garbage. The first day of the decade is absolutely terrible for me. And also the day before. So I call these days New Year Resolution Revolution. And back then the national security law isn't passed yet, so I can use this word, and also things we've lost in the war. So, first of all, December 31st, 2019, it was a very infuriating morning. A lot of things went wrong. And on the same day, because it's the last day of the year, right? Last day of the decade, we have to celebrate it, of course. So by celebrating it, me, Natalie, Grant, and Oliver, we went to another school nearby our school, and we took a chemistry mock exam in practice for the DSEs, of course. And a lot of other people went there to take the exams as well. And we were actually late. I was late to the lunch. They were waiting in a Vietnamese restaurant, and I was late. And then afterwards, we were late, and we ran to that school to take that chemistry exam. And it was quite bad. I mean, yeah, I got to hang out with Natalie and Grant and Oliver. It was nice, but still totally fucked up that chemistry mock exam. And then afterwards, I originally planned to spend the last moments of my year with Cedric, because Cedric at that time was actually in Hong Kong when he's actually studying in Scotland right now. And turns out he's busy, he can't do it. So I had a very lonely ending to the year. You know, people were counting down like 10, 9, 8, yay, 2020, yeah, it's gonna be a great year. New day, new dawn, it's gonna be fantastic. And I was just like, fuck, man. Nope, it's going to suck. And I was right. I was a fucking prophet. January 1st is even worse. I actually ended up hanging out with Cedric and Tyrus on that day because we went to a protest. We went to a New Year protest, again protesting against the tyrannical decisions made by the Hong Kong government and the Chinese government, and more importantly, the police brutality experienced by innocent people in Hong Kong. So we went onto the protest, and there were so many people. And wow, yeah, we arrived at Causeway Bay again. It always has to be there. Actually, it's not technically Causeway Bay. It's a little bit eastward. We went to Victoria Park, which is like the central park of Hong Kong. It's the big park, everyone gathers there. So we went there, and because there were so many people, we were just stuck in one position for 5 hours. We were just either standing, or we were walking, or we were running. We never sat down, we were never rested. We were just stuck in that one place in Victoria Park for 5 hours. There were so many people. Last time we protested, I was also with Cedric and Tyrus. It was August 18th, 2019, and that was amazing because we got to walk all the way from Victoria Park to the whole other side of Hong Kong Island, and it was a very memorable experience. But on this day, it was like the opposite. We were stuck, we couldn't move, it was garbage, it was terrible. And because we were stuck so much, the sun went down. And you know what that means? It means people will begin to fight. The sun went down, and nighttime is wartime. So the cops suddenly announced that they will give us 30 minutes to disperse all the millions of people on the streets. 30 minutes, which is fucking impossible. Are you insane? 30 minutes to disperse this many people? Come on. So of course we had to wait for a while, and then we had to run back home. And Cedric took me and Tyrus and brought us onto a very risky mountain path away from the main roads, because the cops had already arrived in the main roads, and if we pass by those places we may actually fucking die. So we ran all the way up the mountain and all the way back down, and then suddenly I checked my pockets and I realized that my wallet is gone. My wallet is gone. Not only is all the money, my Hong Kong ID card, my Octopus card, my school ID card, my library card, they're all gone, but also the movie tickets that I've been keeping for 2 years, all gone. And then that birthday card thing that I've been keeping since Form 3, that little memoir that I have, also gone. It was gone. And I was so determined to find my own wallet. I and Cedric, so Tyrus went back home, I and Cedric decided to backtrack our steps and walk all the way back up the mountain and back to the other side again. And of course, no luck. My wallet was probably stolen, and it was absolutely disappointing. And before that, actually, I even took out my phone to film the people, and 2 times people actually stopped me, like, don't film me, because nighttime is wartime, okay? Meaning that if I somehow have video evidence of people, they may think that I'm going to be a traitor, and I'm going to hand this footage to the cops and whatnot, which of course I will not, but people are really careful about this stuff. There was even one moment when me and Tyrus and Cedric, we were just running on the streets, and people started forming a line, like a human resource chain, actually 2 lines of humans. They were facing each other, and they were passing down like walls, like roadblocks, water bottles, first aid kits, helmets. It was absolutely intense. People were beginning to dig up bricks and dismantle fences and guardrails. And then there was one guy with a megaphone who stood on top of like a tram station and he yelled, 3 minutes! You have 3 minutes! The cops have already arrived in North Point, which is like 2 districts away from the district we were at the time. So the cops will be here very soon. They're already in a nearby district. They are coming. We are running, and it was absolutely intense. It's not a good experience at all. Again, lost my wallet, stuck in a place for a long time. Just terrible day. So yeah, I know I've spoken a lot already, but again, 2020, it's a lot, man. It sucks, and it's a lot. So what's your worst day of 2020? Comments below, let me know. And thanks for watching. I have been speaking for 45 minutes already. Yay! I need to take a rest and drink some water.